This one's by Bob Dylan. How many roads must a man walk down before you call him a man? Yes, and how many seas must a white dove sail before she sleeps in the sand? Yes, and how many times must the cannonballs fly before they are forever banned? The answer, my friend, is blown in the wind. The answer is blown in the wind. How many years can a mountain exist before it is washed to the sea? Yes, and how many years can some people exist before they're allowed to be free? Yes, and how many times can a man turn his head pretending that he just doesn't see? The answer, my friend, is blown in the wind. The answer is blown in the wind. Yes, and how many times must a man look up before he can see the sky? Yes, and how many ears must one man have before he can hear people cry? How many deaths will it take till he knows that too many people have died? Answer, my friend, is blown in the wind. The answer is blown in the wind. The answer, my friend, is blown in the wind. The answer is still blowing in the wind. New man Bonjangles and he danced for you. Worn out shoes, silver hair, ragged shirt and baggy pants. The old soft shoes. He jumped so high, he jumped so high. Then he lightly touched down. Mr. Bonjangles, Mr. Bonjangles, Mr. Bonjangles, dance. I met him in a cell in New Orleans. I was down and out. He looked to me to be the eyes of age as he spoke right out. He talked of life, he talked of life. Life's like his leg and step. Said his name Bonjangles and he danced a lick across the cell. Grabbed his pants for a better stance, so he jumped so high. And he clicked his heels. He let go a laugh, he let go a laugh. Shook his clothes all around. Mr. Bonjangles, Mr. Bonjangles, Mr. Bonjangles, dance. He He danced for those at minstrel shows and county fairs throughout the South. And he spoke for tears of 15 years how his dog and him would travel about. And that dog up and died, he up and died. After 20 years he still grieves. Said now I dance every chance at honky-tonks for drinks and tips, but most of the time I spend behind these county bars, 'cause I drinks a bit. He shook his head, and as he shook his head, I heard someone ask him, please, please, Mr. Bonjangles, Mr. Bonjangles, Mr. Bonjangles, dance, dance, please dance. Farmer and a teacher, hooker and a preacher, riding on a midnight bus bound for Mexico. One was headed for vacation, one for higher education, and two of them were searching for a lost soul. Well, that driver never ever saw the stop sign, and 18-wheelers can't stop on a dime. There are 3 wooden crosses on the right side of the highway. Why there's not 4 of them, heaven only knows. It's not what you take when you leave this world behind you, it's what you leave behind you when you go. Well, that farmer left to harvest a home and 80 acres, faith and a love for growing things in his young son's heart. And that teacher left her wisdom in the minds of lots of children, did her best to give them all a better start. And that preacher whispered, can't you see the promised land, as he lay his blood-stained Bible in the hooker's hand. There are 3 wooden crosses on the right side of the highway. Why there's not 4 of them, heaven only knows. It's not what you take when you leave this world behind you, it's what you leave behind you when you go. Well, that's the story that our preacher told last Sunday, as he held that blood-stained Bible up for all of us to see. Said, bless the farmer and the teacher and the preacher who gave this Bible to my mama, who read it to me. And there are 3 wooden crosses on the right side of the highway. Why there's not 4 of them, well, now we all know. It's not what you take when you leave this world behind you, it's what you leave behind you when you go. My grandmother made it to 106 years old, and when she passed, she left 2 children, 9 grandchildren, 12 great-grandchildren, and 4 great-great-grandchildren. So remember, it's what you leave behind. Thank you. When I was young, I knew everything, and she upon Corelli ever took advice. Now I'm guilt-stricken, sobbing with my head on the floor. Stop a baby's breath and a shoe full of rice. No, I can't be held responsible, 'cause she was touching her face. I won't be held responsible. She fell in love in the first place. For the life of me, I cannot remember what made us think that we were wise and we'd never compromise. For the life of me, I cannot believe we'd ever die for these sins. We were merely freshmen. Best friend took a week's vacation to forget her. His girl took a week's worth of Valium and slept. Now he's guilt-stricken, sobbing with his head on the floor. Thinks about her now and how he never really wept, he says. I can't be held responsible. She was touching her face, and I won't be held responsible. She fell in love in the first place. For the life of me, I cannot remember what made us think that we were wise and we'd never compromise. For the life of me, I cannot believe we'd ever die for these sins. We were merely freshmen. Tried to wash our hands of all of this. We never talked of our lacking relationships, and now we're guilt-stricken, sobbing with our heads on the floor. Fell through the ice when we tried not to slip. We'd say, I can't be held responsible, 'cause she was touching her face, and I won't be held responsible. She fell in love in the first place. For the life of me, I cannot remember what made us think that we were wise and we'd never compromise. For the life of me, I cannot believe we'd ever die for these sins. We were merely freshmen. For the life of me, I cannot believe we'd ever die. I kind of screw up the last lyrics, but whatever.